All right, welcome back. I'm Jay, the owner of Asanti Property Group, and I built a six-figure turning over property portfolio in only 12 months, starting from very little. Now, in the previous videos, we talked about rent to rents, we talked about BRRR. Today, we're going to be talking about purchase lease options. Let that sink in because it's one of my favorite strategies in property. It's so good. So it's, as it says in the name, it's a purchase, but it's also a lease. Now, let me break this down for you a little bit because it can be confusing if you hear it for the first time. It's not a well-known thing in the property industry. If you talk to agents, they might not know about this. They might think it's a little bit weird. If you talk to vendors, they might think the same. So let me really break this down for you so you understand it. And when you approach people with this concept, then they can actually understand what you're talking about because you know what you're talking about. Okay? So a purchase lease option in essence just means that you buy a property with a delayed completion. You buy the property and it completes at some point in the future, usually like 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 years in the future. And up till then, you're leasing. You're leasing the property from the owner. So you have a lease agreement, long-term lease agreement for 3, 5, 7, 10 years, and you have the option to buy the property down the line. And this option is exclusive. It's only you or your company or whoever you place on that option that can buy this property. Nobody else can just swoop in and take the option away from you or swoop in and buy the property. No, that option, by the moment you and the seller sign on this, is exclusive, okay? So here's what I want you to kind of just really keep in mind. So purchase lease options are a super powerful vehicle for yourself to build your property portfolio because it's like rent to rent, and it's like you can even like rent to rent and BRR it if you know what you're doing, but it's like rent to rent, but you're also still getting to buy the property, which makes it like doubly cool because not only do you have potential then for earning cash flow through the rent to rent, through the lease agreement that you have with the seller, you also have the opportunity to get capital appreciation because at some point in the future, you will own this property completely. And so it's a super powerful property strategy. The reason why vendors, owners, landlords would agree to this because they might be wanting to sell this property for whatever reason, but they might really struggle to sell this property because depending on market conditions, the market might not currently be a seller's market. So they're advertising it for too high, but they might not even be able to drop on the price. Usually if a property can't shift, people just drop the price and then eventually it just goes. But some people cannot do that because they might have debt on the property. They might have a mortgage on the property. And this is where you as a property investor are gonna save them. You're gonna save their day because you as a property investor can still offer them the asking price at some point in the future. You and the seller, of course, you will agree at a specific date. So if it's 5 years, you would say in 5 years, I will definitely buy this from you, or else I will forfeit a deposit that you can put down in the beginning. But it is an option to buy. So even if if it doesn't work out for you in 5 years, you can still pull out of the purchase. But usually that's then you will have to pay some kind of penalty for this. If you paid a deposit up front, then you will lose that deposit. If you didn't pay anything up front, then this might still work for you, but of course only enter into a purchase lease option if you actually really want to buy this. And if your circumstances change for whatever reason, well, you need to be open and upfront with that about that with the seller, but only really go into purchase lease options if you have true intentions of actually buying it at the price you agreed on. Okay, so I hope this was helpful to you. This is what a purchase lease option is. It's the agreement to buy a property at some point in the future, and in the meantime you lease it from the landlord or the owner or the vendor. Okay, and this is what a purchase lease option is. If this was helpful, subscribe in the channel below, and I see you on the next one.